Hi, this is Keith Davidson at Albertson & Davidson. I want to talk to you about trustee removal. In California, removing a trustee is not always the easiest thing to do, but there are two areas where you can remove a trustee pretty effectively in most cases. The number one area is theft. So if a trustee is stealing money from you or from the trust and they're lining their own pockets, they're paying it out for their own bills or their own expenses, and you have evidence of that, you can go into court and show the judge that that's happening, then you have a very good chance of getting that trustee removed quickly. You can also ask that the trustee be suspended until a removal trial can take place, and that way no further damage can happen until the removal trial is conducted. And that's something that's obviously is going to be very important if you have a trustee who is stealing from the trust. The other area where trustee removal is often achieved is when you have a trustee who is supposed to be selling real property, but they won't take any action to do it. So they won't list the property, they won't clean it up, they won't improve it, whatever it is that needs to happen. And the longer time goes by and the trustee's not taking action, the better chance you have to get that trustee removed and to get somebody else in there who's going to do the job right. In a lot of estates, when someone dies, there's a family home, there's real property, it has to be sold so that it can be divvied up among the heirs, among the beneficiaries. And if the trustee doesn't take the action to sell those assets, then the division among the beneficiaries is never going to take place. So the longer that goes on, the better evidence you have to either remove the trustee or at least get them suspended pending removal so that somebody else can step in and do the job right. So how do you go about removing a trustee? Well, first you have to file a petition with the probate court. So you have to explain all of your reasons why that trustee should be removed. And that's where you'll explain things like any stealing that's taking place or the history of why real property is not being sold and how long has it been since any action has taken place, especially if the real property isn't even listed for sale. So if there's not even a single step towards trying to sell the real property, you're going to have even better evidence. You're going to want to include that in your petition with the court. At the same time, you also ask the court to suspend the trustee, and you kind of have two choices here because you can ask for suspension in your regular petition, and that's going to be heard some point in the future, usually about 45 days after you file. You'll get a hearing date, and that's the first time the court's going to check in on your case. But where you have an emergency, such as the trustee stealing assets, you also can file an ex parte petition. It's an emergency petition, so in addition to your removal petition, you also file ex parte paperwork, and you get a hearing date very quickly, usually within about a week's time or so, and you ask the court to suspend this trustee immediately until we can figure out what's going on, get somebody else in there, either a professional or one of the named successor trustees, who can at least just maintain the status quo and make sure that no further theft takes place until the removal trial can be heard.